And 3, 2, 1, action.
From the youngest ages, we are always told these fairy tale stories, these ideas of transporting to another world, to another place. And I just thought, wouldn't it be amazing if you could bring that fantasy into your own real life?
Imagination is such a boundless thing. There are so many different directions it could go and how you execute it and how you visualize it.
What John has put on the page, it's incredibly emotional.
Here we go. Last one. Here we go. And shoot!
This story goes pretty far back. I've worked with John 9 years, and I would say some iteration of the idea existed back then.
Way before the script was ever even written, we were banging ideas back and forth about the concept and the idea of imaginary friends.
Jelly, Eric. All right, here we go.
I wanted to make a movie for my kids. And they were actually the greatest inspiration for the movie because we were in the middle of a pandemic when it was happening. And I remember seeing their lights dwindle. And I thought, no, we gotta ignite this spark again. And weirdly, that's exactly what the movie's about.
Circle that, Brooke, because that was incredible.
I just thought I should do a movie about their imaginations and all the things they get up to, whether it's in their playrooms or in their bedrooms or with their friends.
The goal was to make a live-action version of something that deals with a lot of real-life coping mechanisms, but also gives you a really beautiful, fun, heartfelt ride to go on.
Amazing. Great job.
Can I breathe?
Yes. All right. Good job, everybody.
John is unstoppable. You meet him at the end of a week and he's just as enthusiastic as he was on Monday. And I think in that way, his imagination is being fed by the film he's making.
I struggle to think of a filmmaker that's been more informed by their own parenthood and children than John Krasinski. I feel like that really cemented his language as a filmmaker. Being a dad to 2 little girls, he filters all of his storytelling through that prism.
To have someone who explains to the filmmakers the journey that the characters are going in a very clear way was very helpful.
He's got a fantastic unifying captain energy.
Thank you so much. This is one of the most beautiful parts of the movie, all thanks to you guys. So thank you very much.
He's like a very good conductor of an orchestra. He's sort of thanking all the instruments all the time. So everybody's playing at the top of their game.
John watched all of my behind the scenes. He was asking me these really specific questions about how we had done things in the past. I was kind of taken aback that he'd taken the time and the trouble to understand my craft enough to care about what I was doing. He's an incredible collaborator.
I didn't have it. It was beautiful.
John is incredible. The way he writes, the way he directs, the way he acts, he can do it all. He loves this movie, he loves these characters. That really makes a huge difference.
He knows what he's doing, and he knows everything he wants to see. I'm not used to that. I'm used to having to do it all myself, because acting is so hard.
I mean, cue the violins. Am I right, Terry?
We're just swapping kid stories back and forth. I'm enjoying it a great deal. Talking to other really handsome dads.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves, shall we? Keith!
I think the best way for a movie to be universal and to be for everybody is actually to make it specific and about something that is just universally relatable.
I've talked to a lot of people in their 30s, 40s, and 50s who will talk about, oh man, I miss my imaginary friends. And they would go into this wistful, nostalgic reverie of when they were kids and had that friend that was there for them unconditionally and always.
It's the kind of story that people will relate to in so many different ways. The loss of a parent, the fear of the future, the caring of someone else, how we deal with our own fears, how we find our own strengths.
I was trying to find a story about coping, and I realized that if I told this story through the eyes of a young girl who was going through exactly what my kids are going through, which is trying to deal with the world in front of them every single day, we get to process it through a whole different perspective. The idea that imaginary friends are always with us, even when we're adults, is one of the big themes of the movie, and that all you have to do is turn around and your childhood's waiting for you right there.
Hey, Keith.
I think telling that story allows kids, adults, grandparents to look back and go, well, maybe it's not too late. Maybe I can still tap back into that.
You can always go back.
This is a love letter to imagination. It's a love letter to your children. It's a love letter to reconnecting with yourself at any age.
I feel profoundly that it's going to ignite the imaginations of the viewer.
If there's one thing I hope audiences take from this movie, it is this idea of imagination being much more than a superpower just for kids, but it is something that we all have within us.
And continuing. Action.
How's that? Your level of fear is so good.
Got it. Oh my God. Oh my God.
You sure you want to do this? There's no telling who's behind that door today.
All the ifs, there are so many of them.
We were lucky because there's so many characters to develop.
I was writing the ideas of these characters, and then we had an incredible art team that was drawing these characters as fast as I could think them up.
Are any of them scary?
Worse. Desperate.
Really bend those knees, ladies.
What I liked about the story was definitely big ifs. I like their imaginations, like, don't hold back.
There's something from John's imagination or his childhood reading. They're all characters who have a historic relationship to anybody brought up in the 80s or 90s.
There are the core ifs.
You are the chosen one. No. Let's not give her a complex.
And then there's some recurring ones that are eccentric and funny that show up from time to time.
Put some pants on. You're freaking everyone out.
When I was doing research for the film, it was really interesting to read up on the child psychology aspect to imaginary friends. Kids invent imaginary friends not only as a playmate or something fun, but it's also usually a projection of some trauma, whether it's a move, whether it's a new school, whether it's losing a parent. They actually create these characters as coping mechanisms. How do you make an imaginary friend specific to a kid?
My job is to bring all the characters to life with the direction and the inspiration we get from John. And from an animator's perspective, they all very different. They all have unique quirks and performances.
Oh, fancy seeing you here.
Blue is really lovely.
Wow! Look at him!
My idea for Blue came from an experience with my daughter Violet, who used to tell me that my favorite color was purple, even though my favorite color was clearly blue. And after 2 years, I buckled. And now purple is my favorite color, so I thought, wouldn't it be fun to put that joke in the movie where this is a clearly purple character whose name is Blue, all because his kid was colorblind.
What are you anyway?
I don't know.
Blue is a purple pom-pom, essentially. He's the most huggable thing in the entire world. He's just full of joy.
Blue needs to feel furry and touchable and huggable, but he's very big. We have tools to manipulate his body or get some funny gags of his head stuck in somewhere. And that's the fun bit of it, because sometimes he has to be like this. His head is gonna hit the ceiling and he needs to be compressed like that.
Well done, Blue. Now, let's start over, shall we?
Blossom, she's gorgeous.
Devilish style, adorable accent.
She likes to make tea. She's very calm and collected. And she can dance. Plot twist.
Blossom is a homage to Fleischer cartoons. It needs to live in a contemporary world, but still keeping that appeal in those old cartoons.
The idea of Blossom came to me because it was important to say that the people who create these imaginary friends were all kids at one point. So Blossom was invented by someone in the 50s. We actually designed her to be kind of an old school cartoon. So even though you grow up, that imaginary friend is still going to be locked in that time frame. Lewis is the head if. He is the first imaginary friend to say, I know you're all sad that your kids can't see you anymore, so let's create a place where we can all live together and commiserate together.
All kids need their imaginary friends, especially when they grow up.
So he creates an imaginary friend retirement community. And that retirement community lives under Coney Island, which you will find out has a very special place in Lewis's heart. My kids are all over the movie. My 7-year-old daughter, Violet's imaginary friend is Allie, who is a pink alligator that lives under the bed. I said, are you scared of Allie? And Violet said, why would I be scared of Allie? She's under the bed to protect me from bad guys. And I went, okay. So Allie's in the movie.
All kids are scared of the dark. Because those nightlights don't do anything.
And my daughter Hazel, we were sitting around a campfire a long time ago, and when you first are exploring the world of s'mores, you realize very quickly that you can't leave the marshmallow in for too long or it lights on fire and falls into the fire. Hazel thought that was one of the funniest things ever, so she invented an imaginary friend who was a marshmallow that the top of it is always on fire. There are so many more ifs. There's a unicorn Magic Mouse.
Ta-da!
Guardian Dog.
All right, that's it. I got this. You know what I got this.
There's a early 80s robot toy.
You get building me, but we never got lasers to shoot out of my eyes.
Octocat is a cat who dresses up as an octopus and is obsessed with being underwater.
There's Cosmo, who's this film noir detective who just overreacts to everything.
I can find anyone. Anywhere.
It was really fun to dive into why kids come up with these ifs.
It's like trying to catch lightning in a bottle. What are the right ingredients? So when you put all of them together, it's just like, it worked.
Pretty good, huh?
It's been really fun playing around in that world.
Keith!
What kind of a kid creates an invisible if?
Take one. No worries.
We've done recordings at this point with each person, and so we've started to hear it come to life.
So you have incredible talent playing our ifs, from Gossett Jr. to Steve Carell to Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
It is an ensemble. Everybody works cohesively, coming together for one wonderful purpose.
I only had one voice in mind for each character, and I don't know how, but I got my first choice of every single imaginary friend, which is totally insane. My dream was if I could get the most specific type of actors and performers to do these parts, I would have my job done for me because those voices are so specific, so funny, so bright, and have so much emotion to them.
Oh!
I never dreamt that I would get the cast that I did. Once the imaginary friends realize that a child has the ability to see them all, they all come out of the woodwork to meet this little girl.
Something's happening!
Nothing is happening.
Oh my God! Oh my! Are you kidding me?
Blue is played by a up-and-comer named Steve Carell, and getting to work with Steve on this movie was like no other experience.
If you could ever envision the personification of a character like Blue, who is larger than life, who you want to hug at all times, and who can make you laugh and make you cry and make you feel, there's nobody more perfect to do that than Steve.
Come on!
The video of him doing the ADR sessions, it's magical. Just watching him perform it is great, and being a huge Office fan, it's wonderful that he and John are working together again.
To be able to dive into something completely different and getting to watch him do this voice was phenomenal.
He just gets cranky when people touch his stuff.
I don't think anybody brings that level of energy, that level of comedy, and that level of warmth all in one go.
You could save all of us.
You need someone like him to come in and be that warm invitation back to your childhood. That's who he is.
Oh, wow.
Hi. Oh, God.
Blossom, who's played by Phoebe Waller-Bridge. I think John always had Fiona Shaw in mind to play Grandma. And so the idea that you have these fun, proper British actresses playing this wonderful part.
So I was writing Blossom, and I got about halfway through the script.
Yes.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge. I'm just such a huge fan of hers. I just want to be like, you don't know me, come to dinner with me. So what did I do? I brought my wife, so it was much more cool. And I said, would you ever want to be in the movie? Because now all I can do is write for your voice. And she said yes.
Apologies about him. He's the most adorable train wreck, but a train wreck nonetheless.
It's really fun to see it come to life with Phoebe, who's charming and funny and can be sarcastic, but also warm and becomes your narrator.
Well, of course I am.
Hello, Elizabeth. It's very nice to meet you.
Gossett Jr., who's playing Lewis, who is the wise heart and soul of the movie that takes us through the world of ifs and why they exist and what's important in life. And to have him bestowing this life experience and knowledge on B, I mean, what could be luckier?
Nothing you love can ever be forgotten.
The one and only Gossett Jr., who was always one of my favorite actors growing up. I would do anything to work with him. So I reached out and I wrote the part for him, and he said yes.
Shall we?
Thought you'd never ask.
Hey, Cal. Good God, Cosmo.
One of my favorite characters is a kid that invented an imaginary friend during the Cold War. This character is called Cosmo, and he's a super spy. That's played by Chris Meloni.
Good luck, short stack. It's all up to you.
There's a personified flower, so it's a flower that can walk around and talk, and that's played by Matt Damon.
Wow, look at that.
There's a unicorn played by Emily Blunt. I put her through a rigorous audition process, but she made it.
Why? Oh my gosh! This is just so exciting.
There's a character named Ice you would imagine would be a solid block of ice, but instead he's an ice cube in a half-filled glass of water.
Is it possible the kids are just the worst? Oh my God, is that a kid?
Magic Mouse, when his child invented him, they did magic shows for the parents and for the aunts and the uncles. And he's played by the unbelievably hilarious Sebastian Maniscalco.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
Guardian Dog, which is played by Sam Rockwell.
You know what I'm saying?
His biggest fear is who's watching over Poughkeepsie, New York, because that was his jurisdiction.
Poughkeepsie? Come on, Dad.
The art teacher in the retirement home for imaginary friends is played by Richard Jenkins.
You still owe me $20 from that phone party.
Yeah, we said we're never gonna talk about that with words.
And all the other imaginary friends that you meet later in the movie. George Clooney.
Wow! Wow!
Keegan-Michael Key.
I wish I could just tell him I'm right here.
Blake Lively.
Yeah, that was rough.
Amy Schumer.
She's so sweet.
Bill Hader.
Down and up and down.
Jon Stewart.
We never got lasers to shoot out of my eyes.
Matthew Rhys.
Did you say G-Fo? I have bingo.
Maya Rudolph.
All kids are scared of the dark.
And Aquafina.
Well, sometimes when I get nervous, oh dear God.
Thanks for doing this. It really means a whole lot. Oh no. Oh, there it goes. This is just so exciting.
It's crazy, the level of talent that's attached.
The cast is insane. I know for a fact I will never get a better cast than this, so I'm trying to treasure every moment. Guys, this is going great for me. All right, here we go. Hey, Mark. For me, shooting practically is the most important part of any movie, whether it's all practical or there are visual effects elements, because your job is to bring people into the movie as honestly and in a real way as you can.
Wow!
The movie has really strong presence of these imaginary friends, which are going to be achieved via animated characters.
Oh dear God.
It's amazing when you have a physical puppet next to live action cast. It gives an amazingly good connection.
We've been working with all manner of gizmo and trickery to get this done.
Great, one more like that.
It was hugely important to all of us, but really John was the driving force of saying, I want this to be as practical as humanly possible every single step of the way.
My favorite movies and my favorite directors shoot everything practically, and that is for a reason. It's to bring you into that world in an organic way. And so I just said we have to shoot all these worlds as if they're right there, and we got to treat these imaginary friends like they're real actors who are there showing up on set every single day. And his cape is going the whole time. If I can bring these actors into a world that looks and feels like the real world, then you believe that these imaginary friends are actually there.
It was really clear that he wanted the tangible reality that you would get with shooting with puppets and having things really there on set.
We've had a few times in the show where we could have gone to green screen to shoot a few shots, and John has come back and said, no, it's got to be on a real set. I've got to feel it. It's got to feel real. So we've actually spent a lot more time doing it in the way I think you really have to do this movie.
All right, you know what? Do it yourself, okay? I quit. I don't need this. I don't need any of this.
Like any movie, there's challenges to bringing it to life. The technical side of it is the side I think everybody was probably the most nervous about. How are we going to shoot these scenes? Are we going to have performers? Are we going to have playback? How are they going to interact?
Obviously, the ifs aren't real people.
Sorry, what?
Oh, I feel bad saying that. That hurts my heart. John wanted to make sure that we weren't acting with tennis balls the whole time. So for our main ones, Blue, Blossom, and Lewis, we have actors.
We have amazing actors here that are filling in for those people before their voice tracks are laid down and giving us as much as possible to react to.
For Blue, that takes many different forms. Our actor named Eric is fantastic.
It's a man with two faces.
Thank you, here we go.
Our standing guy, Eric, he wears a very nice backpack, so for Ryan and Cailey, it's good for the eye line. We had this really big hula hoop for his girth, because he's a big guy.
We have a large blue hand. We have a large blue suit. We have a backpack with a little baby blue head on top. And depending on the scene and depending what it calls for, he will be in any different kind of outfit.
3, 2, 1.
And then we also did the same thing for Blossom, just so that on the day there's actually somebody to react to, and of course they're building the performance.
Devin plays Blossom. She's amazing. All of these people that are playing these ifs embody them, and they are perfect for them. It's so cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ones that we don't have actors for, we have cardboard cutouts or stuffed animals or something that we can act to.
Sometimes it's tennis balls. Sometimes we have this, 5-foot face of blue.
We have these maquettes that we've made and things like that, which we can puppeteer through the shots.
They take on various forms. Sometimes we're using them in actual scenes, sometimes we're just using them for VFX reference, and sometimes we're using them to interact.
There's a room full of huge creatures who are all sitting there. John enacts these creatures for us all the time.
I got him, guys. Here he goes. He's coming.
They're going to be a very big part of the second making of this film, which will be when we all finish shooting and they start making these other creatures.
As a cinematographer, you have to accommodate for the elements in the scene that are missing. So we did have an imaginary friend created roughly representing what that person or individual will look like, simply so we could frame the image according to that person being the frame, but also how the light works, how the light illuminates the fur. It's good to create that language as you're making the film, so later on, the visual effects artists have a blueprint to go by.
We want these characters to feel connected to the human characters. That's what it's all about. So we're doing everything we can on set to protect that, and in the visual effects, we'll be trying to make it look as real as we can.
Wow.
I think we make a pretty good team.
The magic is in the realism, so if we can make it feel real, then that will elevate it.
We have a wonderful group of department heads that have come together and have made this wonderful fairy tale in the story John has wanted to tell. And it has come out, I hope, as John had imagined all along.
Creating adorable characters or characters that are really funny is so important. But if you don't believe that they're in the room for real, then I think the magic of this movie goes away.
Anytime. Anywhere. Go, go. Okay.
The Tina Turner video is something really special in the movie.
I love Tina Turner.
It just makes you want to snap your fingers. It's so good.
It's an anthem for the ifs to their creators, saying, don't forget about me, don't let go, you better be good to me.
My mom was such a huge Tina Turner fan, and so I was the biggest Tina Turner fan.
I had nothing to do with Tina Turner being in the movie. That was entirely out of the crazy mind of John Krasinski.
When I came up with this sequence in the movie, I wanted it to mean something and come from somewhere.
It speaks to the themes of the movie, perfect in so many different ways.
All of these pieces of her real life inform her imagination, of course culminating in Ryan Reynolds on stage reenacting a Tina Turner video.
It's the 80s, man.
I know.
Anything can happen. I just thought I would do this for my mom. I would do this huge, crazy sequence to say, thanks for introducing me to Tina Turner.
It was fun to watch Janusz Kaminski, this, incredible legacy DP, wrap his head around shooting an 80s music video with that kind of lighting.
He has a chance to enter the world of Tina Turner's 1980s music video with Ryan, and they have this beautiful, spectacular musical moment on the stage.
I spent a lot of time with our incredible choreographer, Mandy Moore, and she came up with this unbelievable choreography.
We shot it with real dancers. It would be a simple, straight case of just replacing the dancers with our imaginary friends if our imaginary friends all had human proportions, which of course they do not.
It was a pretty wild challenge for all of us.
Oh my God, you're gonna make me not look crazy. Up until today, I thought I was.
I'm not a song and dance person, but I think try everything once or twice is sort of the name of the game. I had a ball. That's an obscene privilege in and of itself.
I've always said that I have wanted to dance in a movie.
She's got amazing talent. See her mastering the great musical dance number
B originally was not going to dance, but they taught me a little bit of the choreography, and they saw that I could dance, and they put me in it, and it was so cool.
I saw Cailey Fleming do the exact choreography, probably better than even Mandy could do herself. And I just thought, what is going on? And Cailey Fleming says, oh, I've been a dancer since I was 1.
Too much! We're out! It's too adorable!
She is the embodiment of joy up on that stage.
It was a ton of fun to shoot, that's for sure.
Dancing with Ifs, dancing with Tina Turner, dancing with Ryan. I don't even know how I'm supposed to describe it.
It was pretty great. When you're looking at it through the eyes of a kid, there's so much wonder in New York.
To be shooting it here in New York is such a rare opportunity. This has just been a dream come true for us.
The costumes were amazing. We had beautiful production design.
We're building universes and we're creating things that people don't put into movies normally.
I love New York so much. Filming here is so cool.
New York is such a powerful character in movies that I grew up with. And now that I'm living here, I just wanted to write a love letter to the city that I experience every single day.
New York was always meant to be as much a character in the movie as any of the human beings and as much as imagination was. When you think about the most magical cities in the world, New York feels like that. It's just boundless, and any turn you make feels like you're on another adventure. We really made Manhattan and Brooklyn Heights feel that way.
To get to walk down the street in front of 30 Rock or at Bryant Park and just be in these places, you can't match it. It's a character in the movie.
I've lived in New York for 15 years now, and it's such a rare opportunity to get to shoot at home.
There's beautiful old buildings and then modern buildings. There's something about the architecture of New York that really lends itself to this kind of story.
We're primarily shooting most of the exteriors in Brooklyn Heights, which is just such a magical part of Brooklyn. The architecture is fantastic. The vegetation and the narrow streets and rooftops. If you're gonna set the movie in a quieter part of the city, I don't think you can get a better place than Brooklyn Heights.
One of the most important elements of making movies is the production design.
We've built a magical man upstairs, and Grandma's house is the perfect grandma's house.
It was a good choice to be able to tailor fit those two sets, the grandmother's apartment and the man upstairs and the stairwell in between. We used a real building in Brooklyn Heights as the exterior, and we built most of that walk-up. We recreated that. Between the grandmother's apartment and the man upstairs, there's a skylight. That breaks the reality of the movie, what takes you from reality into fantasy.
The room upstairs needed to be friendly, needed to be inspiring, should not feel intimidating, scary, or dangerous. Light is usually the element that can create that sense of feeling safe.
Cut, great.
We have such interesting and vibrant and beautiful characters. You want those characters to jump off the page. Our friends are really going to be something special, so I don't want to take away from that. For Cailey, she's had a lot of pain and struggle. John really wanted to introduce this more mature, grown-up. And then we played with color as her mood changes and shifts and as things become much more vibrant and the color gets lifted back into her. Ryan's evolution was really creative and fun. Every change of his was built based on the end costume that we're gonna get to. So every piece of fabric that's in that is somewhere in one of his changes. His pants change or he adds a vest. The whole costume is growing, and then we get to the 80s and there's colors that are thrown in. He wears a little flower that we made out of all of the fabrics so that in the end, he's got the big roses. You won't know until you see the end. And then hopefully you'll watch back again and try to put those puzzle pieces together.
Where would imaginary friends go if their people forget about them? They would want to go where childhood memories live forever. And I just thought, what is the most wondrous, magical, kid-like place in New York? And Coney Island has to be up there at the top. That's where all the imaginary friends in New York live.
Huge chunks of the film take place in Coney Island, which is this incredibly historic amusement park that has a storied cinematic legacy as well.
It's just very elegant, beautiful kind of recreation of what that place used to look like. Because part of the movie takes place in the past. So we were able to create this very romanticized impression of what that place used to look like.
Johnny created this 360-degree camera move. When the camera comes around, it's 1950, so we created a big facade on the boardwalk and set it back in time with a big arched facade with all practical lighting in it, and it was the entrance to the Wonder Wheel. So it was an interesting challenge.
That was really fun to shoot that particular iconic location in New York culture.
If you haven't been to Brooklyn or New York before, I hope this is the movie that helps you decide, I'm gonna go for a visit. The skyline and the city and just the atmosphere, it makes it special.
It's a magical place, and we wanted to set a magical movie in a magical place.
How's that? TV, love TV, that's great.
Reset.
Yeah? Whatever, man.
Starting to see why I live alone. No. You want to cover that up? You seem real relaxed right now. There's no, like, a imaginary dentist where you're from? Yes, where's Michael? Lewis, not Michael.
Michael Lewis?
Michael Lewis.
Okay, ready? Here we go.
Brilliant author. A wonderful
That was
podcast.
great. That was great. Okay, ready?
Hi, Ryan.
Here we go.
Sorry. Dang it.
Oh, boy. Sorry. Hit the wall.
Cut there.
Dang it. Sorry.
You all right?
Did that look cool? Yeah, I'm good.
Look great.
Comedy all the way.
Okay.
Resetting.
Yeah, we just...
What are we doing?
Hi. Whoops, sorry. You were there. Go again. That was great. Yes, no, back, hold, and big. Sorry, lost it. In, out, in. Oh, man. 11, 12, 13, big finish. Come on, girl. Do it. Pretty good. Janet, this is B. B, this is Janet.
Oh, it's lovely to meet you, B. Your father's told me so much about you.
Nice to meet you. What are they giving you?
Magic. Great, cut. But I'm gonna shrink it down to be like weird, and then no, I'm kidding. So then maybe it's like this. I'm glad we're getting all this on camera. So good. I got the rest. Don't worry. Please don't open. And cut.
Hey friends, in this video we're gonna draw Blue.
Yeah, we hope you're gonna follow along because it's gonna be a lot of fun. You need your drawing supplies. We're using markers and also some
Paper and something to color with.
Yeah, but you can use whatever you have. You ready to start?
Yes.
We're using our markers and marker paper to draw on, but you can use whatever you have, like a pencil or even crayons.
Yeah.
Let's start by drawing Blue's eyes. We're gonna draw them in the middle of our paper, but towards the top. We're gonna draw 2 circles. We're gonna draw them about this big, kind of big, and then we're gonna leave some space, and then we'll draw another one the same size. Yeah, and then let's draw the pupils. We're gonna color in the circle too, so it's solid. Okay, now let's draw his eyebrows. We're gonna draw a curve over each eye. I kind of went back over it to make it thicker too. And then let's draw his smile. And he's got a really big smile. We're gonna draw it curving down and then back up over here on the right. And then let's draw little cheek lines too. Okay, next let's draw his ears. We're gonna start right above his eyebrow, but off to the left. We're gonna draw kind of a U shape that comes down and then back. It's a sideways U shape. And then we're gonna draw that same sideways U shape on the right side to match. Now we're gonna connect his ears with a bunch of fur and zigzags. So we're gonna start here, and we also wanna go up a little bit higher for the top of his head, and then I'm gonna change the zigzags and go the other direction to connect to the other side. Which imaginary friend do you think is the funniest?
I think all of them are really funny, but Keith the invisible one is so funny.
Yeah, he keeps tripping over him.
Yeah.
I also like Marshmallow, the one that's on fire.
Yeah.
Now let's draw the fur on the side of his head, coming down, and we'll stop right when we get in line with the bottom of his smile, and then we can do the same thing over here on this side. Okay, next we're gonna draw his shoulders and his arms coming down. So we're gonna draw more zigzags, so he's really furry. We're gonna draw a big zigzag, but we're curving out for his elbow, and we're gonna come down, and we'll stop at his elbow, and then we're gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna keep going because we're just repeating that same step over here on this side. Now we're gonna draw the elbow right here. It's bent, but we're gonna bend his arm into his body. And we can stop there, and we'll do the same thing over here. We're gonna bend it in. Then let's curve around to finish his hands, and we'll come back in to the inside of his elbow. And then let's repeat that same curve on the other side. Then let's draw his finger lines. We could just add 2 little curves inside. Oh, it's starting to look like him, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. All right, let's draw his belly. We're gonna draw big zigzag lines curving in right here. So we'll start on his elbow, and we're gonna draw it zigzagging, coming in, and stopping there. And then we can do the same thing on the other side. Oh, also, let's draw a little line right here for the inside of his arm going up to his armpits. Yes. Okay, now let's draw his feet and his legs. We're going to start here, and we'll draw a zigzag. This one's coming straight down, and we'll draw another one coming straight down, too, on this side. Now we're going to draw the inside of his legs. And we're going to imagine this line right here coming through and connecting to the other side, but we're just going to draw a small zigzag line in between. Then let's draw the inside of his left leg and also the inside of his right leg. Now we can draw his feet. Let's curve out on the left and also on the right. And then we're going to curve around for the bottom of his foot and into this line to finish it. And then we can do the same thing for this foot. We did it! We finished drawing Blue, except we're not completely done.
We still need to color it.
Yes, we need to color him purple.
Yeah.
This part will fast forward, but at the end you can pause the video to match your same coloring. You ready to speed things up?
Yeah.
Awesome, we did it. We finished drawing and coloring Blue, and it turned out perfect. I especially love yours.
Thank you. I love yours too.
Thanks. Now you can pause the video to match our same coloring. We used the white colored pencil to add highlights, and we also layered the purple to add shading, but you can leave that off to keep the lesson a little easier. You also don't forget to add the green around his eyes. We used our markers to color with, but you can use whatever you have, like crayons or colored pencils.
We hope you had a lot of fun drawing Blue.
We do. We hope you had a lot of fun. And it's okay if your drawings look different than ours. Both of our drawings look a little different, and they both turned out awesome. That's because the most important thing is
to have fun.
Yeah, and to
practice.
Practice. Remember to have fun and practice, and we'll see you later, art friends. Goodbye.